Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project we're going to make a gorgeous card using lots of our Anna Griffin supplies, including the French frame dies. And we're going to kind of make a little bit of a framed shadow card using embellishments that we might have left over from different card making kits as well. So that's something to think about. Everything I do use I shall put in a detailed list on the blog. So please be sure to check my blog for the items that I've used. If you've ever got anything to say or you've got any questions or requests, feel free to contact me directly through my blog, which way you can email me, or you can get in touch through Facebook. If you do contact me, give me a few days to reply, because you know I do other things as well, and work and blah blah blah, commitments and all that. So if I don't get back to you straight away, don't panic. If you ask a question on YouTube, I can't really reply to you because my replies disappear. There's a glitch on my account. So ask a question through Facebook on my blog. But, you know, I do read all the comments on YouTube. I love hearing from you. I love hearing how you enjoy the projects and they help give you ideas or inspiration. It's really heartwarming and I do appreciate them so much. Okay, let's craft. So the first thing that we're going to need is our base card. This is a 7x5 inch card. Yes, I know I'm so naughty. I like this size. We have been using shape cards in the mini series though for the easel dies, and I did use a square card last week, so I am trying. Now for any new viewers, this is a cardometer. I've designed it, I've come up with it, it's mine. So if you see it elsewhere, you better tell me because it's my idea. And it was an idea planted in my head by somebody who asked if I could show what size the cards are. And this, I think, does it perfectly. The largest size is the A4. A5 is A4 folded in half. Now, I know my friends across the pond, you kind of like call this something different. I think you call this A6. But for me, it's A5. Our next size down, the blue, is the 7x5. Then we go to the A6, which is A5 folded in half. A7, A6 folded in half. And then we've got the Didier TC. But we're here. Now this gives perspective at home of what size the card is that I'm going to use. It's ideal for new crafters or advanced crafters, people that have never crafted before or people that have crafted for 25 years. It's the right amount of space to get enough on or not put much on and to do what you've got to do and say what you've got to say. And I like this size. So the first thing we're going to do is use our bone folder. Now for new viewers, this is a tool that enables you to make a sharp crease when you've got a score line. And I'm just running it along the edge of the crease at the top of the card, just to be sure that that's a nice professional crease for when we create the inside. Remember to add your name on the back of your card. I use a handmade by stamp. You don't have to include the date. I'm including the date because it's the dates that the projects go out, and then I know that that was made today, and then I add my name in the little section in the middle. Okay, so the inside of our card. Now this card I think is a really pretty card, and it's quite an easy card to make. I won't say it's a quick card, but the finished result, you would think, how did you do that? But when you've seen it, you would think, oh, that's a good idea. And we like those, we like good ideas. So the inside of the card, I've taken one of the blank cards from the Birthday Perfect Partner cards, and I've trimmed it up as a frame. Well, not as a frame, but just the outside. I've taken the other side of the card away, and then I've just trimmed it down to fit the inside of our card. I've got double-sided tape on the back of it, and I think it's perfect for the background. And add that to the centre of the card, like so. Press it down. bit wibbly wobbly, but you know, I'm known for that, so it doesn't really matter. Now the next thing I've used, and this is where we're going to add our writing, our to and from, etc. I've taken I've die cut from the French Frames dies, the oval die. Now I've not embossed this because this is for the inside. It's picked up a little bit of the detail without embossing, but I didn't want to emboss the inside. And then I've used one of the Anna Griffin 22 clear birthday stamps, and I've just stamped at the top in a dark cerise red ink. It was a permanent ink. And I'm simply going to add this over our previous layer, our perfect partner layer from the card set. So that is just going to sit so well there through the centre. And there, that's our insert. How quick and easy was that? But how effective does that look? With our sentiment and then the shape of the oval. Now we can turn our attention to the front of the card. I'm just going to use my bone folder again, just to make sure that that crease is still nice and sharp. Even though this was a factory made card, that crease is just a scar line to them. We want it nice and crisp and sharp. Now my first layer is the same as we used for the inside. It's from the Birthday Perfect Partners card and envelope set from Anna Griffin. And I've cut it down, I've trimmed it to where the pattern starts, and I've got 3D foam on the back. And I'm simply going to add this to the front of our card. Now this card is going to be a very highly layered card. And when I say highly layered, I actually mean the 3D depth between each layer, because they're all on 3D foam, so it's going to build up and build up. Now the first layer on top of our base layer is from the French frame dies, is the oval I've cut out in Ivory cardstock. I've used the Anna Griffin plain Ivory cardstock for this. I've stamped in the middle using one of the, again, the 22 birthday stamps, the clear ones. They were from a fair few years ago from Anna, but they're very useful. And then I've embossed the top and the bottom section, and I've used the embossing folder from the Birdcages and Branches set, and the embossing folder is called In the Vines. You could use any folder for this, but what you're looking for is just to emboss the top and then the underneath. Leave the middle section. So this is on 3D foam, and I'm just simply going to add this to the front of our card, like so. I'm going to try and make sure it's straight, so just lift that a little bit. There we go. Now our next layer is again from the French frame dies. I've used the oval die, the oval frame, and then in the centre I've used one of the oval dies. Now this was the smallest oval die that there is in the set. I've used paper from the Lila collection from Anna, and I'm going to marry this up. I've got it on 3D foam. I'm going to marry this up to the previous layer. Now you can see how it's framed, the embossing and the sentiment. I'm just going to lift it up to make sure I've got it in the right place so that I could see it. Now our next layer is another plain ivory layer, and this again was the oval frame, the French frame, and then I've used the larger oval die for the centre, and I have embossed this one as well. Again, this is on 3D foam, and I'm going to marry up the layers, and I'm just going to hold this up for me to be able to see where the layer goes. Obviously at home you look over your cards and you can see exactly where you're working, but it's very different through the lens of a camera. So that looks about right to me. So you can see how, because we've used the smaller oval on the inner section and the larger oval on the outer, it creates a shadow effect. Now you can also see how they layer up with all that 3D foam. Just going to press it down, make sure it's stuck nicely. Now the next thing, we're going to decorate it. Now I said before we're going to use flowers left over from kits. So I'm using flowers left over from the Pretty Paintings kit. And I've got these gorgeous flowers. These are all stickers. So you simply just take the back away and then add them to whatever you're going to use. So press those down. And then I've got two smaller flowers, which I'm just going to add roughly about there, I would say. And again, for the other side, like so. Press it down. And then I'm going to add a bow at the top over the bow on the card, like so. Press that down. Now I'm going to add something a little bit extra here, because I've been asked by somebody about including and incorporating crystals, because they wanted to add them to their Anna Griffin cards, but they didn't really know whether they would go or not. I personally think they would go perfectly on any card. So I'm using 3mm plain crystals. They're already adhesive and they're on a carrier sheet. These aren't from Anna, they're just an added embellishment that I've been asked to show how to incorporate. I'm using a pokey tool and I'm simply lifting them away from the carrier sheet and then popping them onto the card in the position where I want them to go. So I'll add two at the sides. I always think odd numbers when I add crystals for some unknown reason. So I'm just adding 2 at the top, so then we've added 5. And now I don't know if that's picking them up. Yes, it is. And I think we're going to add just 2 on the flowers, because you can. They're your crystals, they're your flowers. You can do exactly what you like with them. It doesn't matter. And, you know, I could keep going with the crystals, but I'll stop there because I think it shows perfectly that you can add them. You don't always have to add lots and lots, but they do work really well. Now this card I think is just so pretty. The inside, I'm going to say plain, but it's without being too fancy, shall we say, but it's still so pretty. Lots of room for you to and from, but the front, look at that. Oh my word. How gorgeous is that? Now it is raised up, so you're going to need maybe a thicker envelope to put something in. Maybe a big fat mailer, something like that. Your 3D foam might not be as thick as mine. It stands up perfectly, and believe me, that is going to sit on a mantelpiece. That is just the prettiest birthday card. Please feel free to give me the thumbs up, click the like button please, and please share any of my projects with your crafty friends. If you're going to do it for a business website, let me know, just for you know, approval. Feel free to comment, let me know, do you like this? Maybe this isn't your cup of tea. Maybe you'd use a different colour. I'm going to say I think it's perfect, but that's me, I'm biased, I'm allowed to. You might decide you wanted to use different flowers. It's a great idea, and it just is so pretty, and now you've seen it put together, it's not that difficult. So I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.